Where Bradford is speaking and making an announcement. Let's listen in.
Status quo provided by yesterday's leaders. We need to build the city that we all want, a city where young families like mine, new Canadians and seniors can afford to live and thrive. The people of Toronto want less talk and more action to make life more affordable, restore community safety, and unclog the gridlock that has ground this city to a halt. As your mayor, I will stand up for Toronto and get the city the respect it deserves. Now, this election is a choice, but people do not have to choose between Olivia Chow's high tax agenda or Mark Saunders as Queen's Park's rubber stamp at City Hall. I believe that our city can and must do so much better to make life more affordable for your family, to build a better and safer city, better to create more opportunities for the hardworking men and women in the trades. As your mayor, I will bring leadership to the mayor's office with real-world, common-sense, practical solutions to today's challenges. One of those challenges is the budgetary pressure at City Hall. The fiscal reality for Toronto has changed, and we need new leadership to get the city's finances in order. I want to share with you today part of my plan to improve the budget at City Hall so that we can protect the services that Torontonians rely on. Now, today in Toronto, City Hall limits who can bid on the construction projects to build our city up. Toronto is a closed shop and strictly limits who can work on the city's construction projects based on which union they belong to. What's the result of that? Well, you pay a lot more and there are fewer workers available to do the work to build this city. This is the old way of doing business, and it's bad for taxpayers, it's bad for accountability, and it's bad for our city's budget. Every other municipality in Ontario allows open competition so that more people, more workers can build their cities. Toronto says no to that opportunity, and it costs taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars every year, money that we can't afford to waste. Let me say that for you one more time. Every other municipality in Ontario supports open tendering, and as a result, they are employing more people, getting projects done faster, and saving their communities a lot of money. Toronto is the only city in this province to run a closed shop. This has to end, and it will save the city at least $200 million every year. As mayor, I will fix Toronto's bad contract procurement process and open up tendering for Toronto's municipal construction projects. I want more firms competing and working to build this city to get better deals for taxpayers. I want more opportunities for workers. I want more people to build the infrastructure that our city needs. There are some who may think talking about the tendering process at City Hall is boring. I understand that. But the lack of leadership today on the nuts and bolts of city government is why Toronto is at a breaking point. As your mayor, I will fix Toronto's bad contract procurement process and open up tendering for Toronto's municipal projects. This will expand the city's capacity to get projects built faster and more trades and jobs for workers. It will save us hundreds of millions of dollars every year so our city can do more with the resources we have and keep taxes affordable. You see, today in Toronto, the culture of saying no at City Hall, yesterday's leaders who built the status quo cannot imagine doing things differently. They cannot imagine a better way. Yesterday's leaders are not the answer to today's problems. In fact, yesterday's leaders are the authors of the problems facing us today. As we saw in the debate last night, no other candidate in this race has the courage to do what is right and fix the city's tendering process to get better deals for taxpayers. Nobody has the courage to do that except me. Here in Toronto, we proudly have a fair wage policy for all city work. We have the highest safety standards and procedures that are held up for occupational safety in the province. Now, there are those with entrenched interests who are going to lie to you to keep their special deals in place, rather than save the city and taxpayers $200 million and welcome more workers to do those important jobs. My campaign hasn't made any backroom deals with vested interests, I can tell you that. In Hamilton, after opening up tendering and welcoming more workers to help build their city, the city budget has realized an average of 21% in annual savings. What does that mean for Toronto? That's $200 million. That's a lot of money. Any politician in a position of leadership has lost touch with the hardworking men and women of this city if they're in favor of perpetuating the status quo. They're out of touch. Now, I'm using a conservative figure, $200 million, because that is how prudent budgeting should be done. But a new report released last week revealed open tendering, responsibly managed, would have saved Toronto's budget $347 million. That's $347 million that we could put into housing, $347 million that we could put into transit, into restoring services, parks and recreation, things that will make a real difference in your life. Instead, Toronto's closed shop policy wastes money and delivers less value for taxpayers. My program is what less talk and more action is all about. I'm offering you real leadership that says yes to jobs and affordability by welcoming more people to do the work and get shovels in the ground faster. Open tendering for taxpayers will build the city that we all want and ensure that the municipal services we rely on are there for people who need them. As your mayor, I will get better deals for taxpayers on city contracts so that we can do more and build an affordable city. This is ultimately about affordability, and I want to make sure you don't have to move to Hamilton. You can stay and live right here in the city of Toronto. We can make this happen, but I need your vote on June 26th. The old way of doing business at City Hall won't give our city the practical common sense solutions that we need. The old way of doing business at City Hall is going to cost you a heck of a lot more. Other candidates in this race need to be honest with you about their costly plans and how high they are going to raise your taxes. As your mayor, I will fight for affordability. I will make Toronto safer, and I will unclog the gridlock that has ground this city to a halt. As your mayor, I will lead us through these tough challenges with relationship to our budget. I will fight for affordability and make sure that people can afford to live in this city. And as your mayor, my experience as an urban planner and work on council, I will work to build the Toronto we all know is possible. With less talk and more action, we can get this done. Vote for Brad Bradford on June 26th.